the killer application is the FW. FW is a single application of 5G which is adopted globally and which is giving opportunity to the operators to monetize their investment. Okay, so I will definitely let you know the challenge first. I just in 2 minutes I try to explain FW. What is FW? So FW is the fixed wireless access. Okay, and you must heard a buzzword nowadays that is called the air fiber.
Yeah,
So air,
fiber.
yeah, so air fiber is the brand name, and the technology and the concept behind that is the FW. It is called the fixed wireless access. What does this mean? That a fixed device will be placed within home or outside your home, okay, and it will connect it wirelessly to a base station. Wirelessly
Mm.
to a base station. Okay. Usually, typically in a FTT solution, what happens that the backhaul is on the wire, either on the fiber or on the LAN cable. You must have seen in your homes, okay,
Yeah.
that there is a cable coming from the behind and this is treated as a backhaul. But in FW, there is no backhaul at all. So that's why it is wireless, fixed
Mm.
wireless. So it is
Welcome to another exciting episode of Value Seller Talks with Deepak Vijaj. In this, we engage with exceptional minds who are shaping the future of business, sales, and technology. Today, we are in conversation with a visionary in the world of telecom, someone who has spent nearly 2 decades at the cutting edge of 5G, LTE, and ORAN. ORAN is Open RAN. He is not just a technical expert, but a strategic leader who has played a key role in designing, engineering, and scaling telecom innovations across international markets. His journey spans across leadership roles in pre sales, products, strategies, and complex bid management in some of the most dynamic and demanding regions worldwide. So please welcome our guest of today, Mr. Sapan Sinha, a passionate technology leader with an unshakable drive for innovation and excellence. Welcome, Sapan.
thanks a lot, Deepak, for this fabulous introduction. Very, really nice to listen. And I'm pleased to be here, thrilled to be here. Thanks a lot for this.
Thank you, Sapan. I know your days are very busy, and you deserve this introduction. And I know I have make it very short, but thanks for taking out your time.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So, Saban, the first question which comes in my mind is that, if I go in your list of achievements and the benchmark which you have created in the industry, it's unmatchable, right? But before we move forward, we'd love to know you as a person first.
Exactly, Deepak. So, me as a person, very simple, down to earth, cool and calm guy. If one word I tell you that can explain me better is the sincerity. So, I am
Mm.
too much sincere with my job, with my responsibilities, with my career and the accountabilities. And being sincere always yield better results for the organization and for the someone who is sincere. I am passionate for the technology as well, and I believe in continuous learning. My leadership style is inclusive, so I usually accommodate all the peers, subordinates, but whatever decision I take or whatever I do, so that they could feel heard and valued. So this is my style of working. And if you talk about personal habits, so hobbies, I am fascinated to technology that I mentioned, and I always love to read. Whenever I have a spare time, I love to read, and especially those content which is associated with my domain. Additionally, I am a bit health conscious, so daily practicing yoga and meditation is my routine.
Mm. Definitely. And these type of activities will make your mind more open and help you to absorb more and more information which is available in abundant.
Hmm. Correct, correct.
Right. And that's a quality of every leader. They learn a lot. So learning should not stop. That's the mantra we follow.
Exactly, exactly.
Thank you. That's a very important message for the youngsters who just started their careers and they think that the learning has stopped because they spend a lot of amount of
Exactly.
time in their
Exactly. Basically,
educational.
in the beginning, they don't understand that the pace technology is evolving is very fast. So
Hmm.
you have on the daily basis you have to learn. Learning, continuous learning should be a habit. So it is very essential for anyone, whether he's the leader, whether he's the experienced guy, whether he's the fresher, like that.
Right. So, Sapan, we want to take you back to your fresher days, 2 decades back. So, how did your journey started in telecom? So tell us about that.
Very fantastic question, Deepak. It brought with a smile on my face because I will use this opportunity to cherish my young early days. Basically, I will start from my telecom journey. Basically, I have a lot of interest in signal communications. So I
Hmm.
have started my graduation is in the year 2000. Okay, and that time there was the era of PSTN, and I have seen the PSTN network to be switching in the mobile network. So I have a lot of interest to knowing this how a communication which is usually done through a wire, propagate through a wire, is being shifted to a wireless communication where someone is sending A is sending to B and it is wirelessly connecting. So I have a lot of interest in that. And when I had opportunity to take admission in my BTech, so so I intentionally chosen this branch called electronics and communications because I have a lot of interest in the communication part, that how the signal propagates, how it is radiated, what actually happens in that.
Hmm.
And fortunately, I got this branch. I have studied a lot in this, and I had a very strong intention that whenever I will do in the domain of telecommunications. And very fortunately, after getting the graduation degree, I had an opportunity to work in Nokia. I was placed in Nokia. That time, Nokia Siemens Network, and I felt that my dream come true. And really, since then, I have never turned back. Never turned back in last 2 decades. From started from journey from Nokia to till date, sitting in front of you, I have never turned back. And currently, I am in this domain. Right now, I am working in one of the leading Indian OEM who is involved in the manufacturing and developing the 5G products, whether it is radio products or CP products, and I'm leading the solution engineering in the pre-sales here. Prior to that, I was in the Nokia and Ericsson like company where I have led the pre-sales activity for 4G, 5G RAN in APEC market,
Hmm.
Japan market, and a couple of months I was in a Europe market also, where I was also responsible for the product solutions, services solution, innovative solutions, retail microwave, power solutioning, IoT, and definitely 4G, 5G RAN was there. Prior to that, I had an opportunity to work with Ericsson also. There I have served the tier one US customers like AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, etc. So this is the way I have engaged in the telecommunications due to my interest. And the second part of the question you asked, that how I hooked so long, and the answer is very simple.
Hmm.
The learning attitude, my learning attitude, because see, when I have started that time it was 2G, and now we are talking 5G and 5G advanced. So from 2G to 5G, so many times technology eradicated and
Right.
developed. So a person who doesn't have the learning attitude can't sustain in the market. Okay.
True.
So the answer is very simple. My continuous learning attitude kept me alive in this market and in the industry.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2G, 3G, we all come from we all are subscriber of these technologies, and but
exactly.
there are the two things which comes in my mind. First of all, your opinion on those people, those students, or those youngsters who are changing their domain as always. Like we have seen the people coming from let's say uh, telecom guys moving into IT, mechanical guys moving into IT guys are also switching here and there. Don't you face such a type of challenges in your 2.5 decades of experience to
No,
switching here and there?
personally, me not, but this is the practice nowadays. What you mentioned, the guys taking the mechanical degree and trying, willing to do in the IT or the telecommunication is very frequent. Because, see, what I understand, there is a lack of guidance. Because what I mentioned, that I am in the telecommunication domain in that era when the computer science was in top. In
Hmm.
2000 era, computer science was in the top, but I have opted computers and electronics and communication, and especially studied, focused, and paid attention on the communication paper due to my interest. But the guys and the fishers are not so focused. They are not knowing even that what they can do better, in which direction they should have to go. And this is the reason when I recruit fishers, I I see that they are from electronics and communication, but they don't have the knowledge of their domain. They are engaged in the ITs and other fields. Okay,
Mm.
so this is a problem, and due to the lack of knowledge and the guidance, what I understand, proper counseling.
Mm. So, maybe the right message to the audience here is, especially the people who have the tendency to move here and there, is to remain focused, because
Remain
the,
focused.
the experts like Sapan and the leaders of the industry, they want the person who remain focused, and there is always a potential in your career as well.
Exactly, exactly. Deep.
Mm. But I would like to understand, the maybe the 2.5 years of journey, you may have faced a lot of challenges. Maybe first challenge would be, getting a job, and the second is to retain the job also. So can you elaborate some of your experience?
2.5 years, which experience you are referring?
2.5 decades of your experience, right? In your
Yeah, so it is approx 2 decades, Deepak, of experience. Okay, so especially see the challenges. My perception with the challenge is a bit different. Definitely, there is a challenge in everyone's life, whether it's a personal or professional. But I always taken, or you can say, embrace challenge as an opportunity, because challenge always comes with the plethora of opportunities. Okay, and if you treat challenge as a challenge, then uh, it might take much time to handle it, but you
Mm.
take it as opportunity. Definitely you will learn, you will enjoy, and you will grow. Okay, so in my opinion, it's all about the mind game, your perception, how you handle. And then it so if you are competent enough, you have the learning attitude, you have patience, you can tackle the situations very easily. Okay, so if you have asked regarding the challenges, that one coming in my mind is, okay, and that has given a lot of opportunities to me, to groom me, to learn a lot from that. So see, I started my journey from Nokia as a site engineer. Okay,
Mm.
and thereafter I have switched to Jetty as a cluster lead, where my key responsibilities were site installation, integration, and commissioning. I was supposed to handle entire cluster. Okay, 10 to 12 engineers were reporting to me. So this was my role, which was not fully technical. Okay,
Mm.
and I am talking the time frame 2008-9, when I was in the 10 Kolkata. And all of a sudden, my land manager has suggested me to sit in OMC, lead the OMC. Okay, in that situation, in that time frame, there were no LT expertise within the team. Okay,
Mm.
from this background to that background, it could be horrible for anyone else, but I have taken this as an opportunity. And my key role was given that that time, see, on the site, on the LT side, so many alarms were coming. We are not able to get the right throughput. So there were so many alarms on the site, and how to fix those alarms were not known to anyone, even the OMC guys. And I was
Mm.
supposed to lead that. You can understand the situation and the complexity of the challenges. Okay, but I handled it very patiently. Okay, so I gathered all the information, analyzed the alarms, taken the logs, and I was supposed to talk with the um, R&D guys sitting in China that time. Okay, so now they have to give the solution of those, and those solutions I am supposed to cascade with the OMC engineers. They are supposed to implement it, and we have to check it on the site end. Okay,
Yeah.
and this is a cycle. Even after the implementation of those solutions, the site alarm is not going, or we are not getting the right throughput. So I have to continue the cycle,
Mm.
gathering longs, giving the Chinese. So this was a very challenging job for me. What I realized so far in my career, because I have directly shifted from a deployment role to
So,
leading a technical role. Okay.
yeah.
Other than that, I don't realize anything looked challenging to me. And even this challenge I have taken is as a learning opportunity. As from here, my technical journey has started. If I let
Mm.
you know, from 7-8 time frame, my technical journey, because I was working since 2004 and 5 time frame, 4 or 5 years I have been spending the deployment, and all of a sudden switching to a OMCR was a really great opportunity for me to learn and start the technical journey. Deepak.
I still remember the days when a engineer used to refer some of the specifications, especially the 3GPP, right? And it's this much of the booklet which comes in my mind, right? And reading those books and getting the information which is relevant to that particular situation
Yeah,
is
yes, yes,
really a
yes.
challenging thing.
Correct, correct, correct.
I'm pretty much sure you have also read all these 3GPP standards and different releases.
Yeah, yeah, it's the day-to-day work that we have to go to 3GPTS release. From release 8, the LD was the part of release 8, and now we are talking the release 20 for 6G or the 5G beyond. So it is the integral part of my life. Day-to-day, we have to refer those in our day-to-day work. So really, one thing I also would like to highlight here, and that is not a challenge, but I can explain that as a learning opportunity. Okay,
Mm,
so when I placed in the Nokia GSS, so my pre-sales journey started there. Pre-sales and solution journey started in Nokia. So I was initially deployed in the Europe market. Europe market is treated to be very, very smooth, process orientated, and you get the training for the 3 months, and thereafter you have to start like that. So it was very easy market to work. So I deployed in this market, and I started to work. Within a couple of months, I was very confident. I was pro in that market, but it was very cool and calm market.
mm,
As I love challenges, so I approached my line manager that my learning curve is seems to be finished here, stopped here, paused here. So I wanted to shift to another market, which is the APEC market. And why I have opted APEC? Because from my PS, I came to know that it's a very challenging market.
mm,
Different countries, the countries like Australia is in that market, and the countries like Bangladesh and Myanmar is also in that market. So there is a lot of complexity. There is no process, nothing, no format, no process, etc. But even I opted, and my landlord were also surprised, and the peers were also surprised that why he is opting that.
mm,
I opted. Of course, there was a problem. Initial days, long hours I have to work. I was hitting my mind here and there. But after working couple of months, I was also growing that market. And there is no doubt at all that in my professional career, there is a big role of Nokia GSS, big role of that is in topless 5 6 years that I have spent in Nokia GSS. So learning and challenges go hand in hand. So if someone will not take any challenge and he is expecting to grow, learn. It is very tough, very tough. Deepak.
mm, mm. And this also reminds me one important part which you mentioned about taking support from the China people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm pretty much sure that language is a big barrier over there. So how you handle that thing as well?
So see, if you have to talk with the Chinese, you
Yeah.
have to degrade your level of English. Okay, the simple technique is that you have to speak very slowly. You have to speak. You can understand this. हम टूटी फूटी English बोलते हैं in our language. So
Mm,
go, come, done, not done, and sometimes I have seen them using uh, translator. If there is an app,
mm,
they write in China, and it is translated to the English like that. So
yeah,
most of the time they prefer to chat. Okay, and whenever we have to talk, we have to degrade our English. We have to speak very slowly. We try to convey in their phonetics like that, whatever can
mm,
be done, so that they could understand correctly. And what I have been seen, the critical and crucial information they usually give on the email or the
mm.
chat, so that there could not be any kind of confusion in the
True,
net.
true. Agree, agree. Yeah, the things has changed now. From you talk about the site, the field work to the OMCR. Now you are
Mhm.
expert in both the solutioning and the pre-sale engineering. So
Correct, correct, correct.
help us to understand about the key responsibility under these domains.
Yeah, well, Deepak, because I have worked in both the domains, solution engineering and pre-sale, so I can explain. So see, So pre-sales is all about to understand customers, take the requirement from the customer, and propose a better solution. Roughly, okay, that
Yeah.
includes the technical presentation, product demonstration, solution proposing, etc., and definitely the costing part is also there. So whatever
Mm,
solution you are proposing, what cost and price, not the cost is submitted internally, ultimately the price go to them. So what price we can provide that solution to them that we are proposing. So it is a pre-sales job typically. And in solution, the responsibility of solution engineering is to develop that solution that we have proposed to. Typically these are two different teams, but as I myself handle both the things, so I brought better synchronization between what we propose and what we are developing. Sometimes there is a gap, but in my case, because since the time of Nokia I've been doing this, and in my present company also, so I tried to keep a sync between that. Okay, so developing the solution, implementing that particular solution, testing in the lab environment is the solution engineering prime responsibility. And thereafter, the same solution we have to run in the customer premises that we call as a field trial. Sometimes it is POC, proof of concept. So these are the key responsibilities of solution engineering. Yeah, Deepak.
mm. Yeah. So now, uh, obviously there are full of challenges because the customer demands are always changing, and with the type of the business model which we have, they don't talk with only one customer, with one vendor, one partner. So, and every partner gives their own set of education to them. How you handle those challenges as well?
Yeah, so handling those challenges is not so easy because see, and that's why there's an account manager for every different customers. But the customer that I handle as my pre-sales job, so the first and foremost thing is you have to understand the customer need. Deep understanding of customer need should
Mm,
you have, what solution they want, what solution is feasible in their network, what is their financial situation, what network and topology they are willing to pitch in to their customer. So, in order to understand our customer, first we have to understand customer's customer. Okay. So, this is
yeah.
the key. And if you are able to understand that part, I think you are cater to customer better. And the second thing is the technical proficiency. Basically, in the operators, they are much dependent on the OEMs for their technical work. So the guy who represent the OEM should must be technically proficient. Okay, so only then they have the confidence in this. Otherwise, they don't have the confidence that
Mm,
they can deliver.
mm.
This is
Right.
the key point.
Yeah, you touch upon a very important point is customer. If we don't think like a customer's customer, definitely we are not talking about in their language, and we will
Exactly,
not be able to, understand what the pain they are having.
exactly, exactly,
Hmm. That's important because people generally go with a transactional mode in today's world. But yes, it's very important to understand the whole ecosystem, and reaching to the last mile is something which is very important.
exactly.
Hmm. Now, moving from like you are in technology expert always, and we have seen you, presenting your technology thoughts. So, as you mentioned, from a 2G to even not 2G, it's my bad, from PSTN to 2G to 5G now, and obviously beyond as well. So, what is your experience, right? Because every time there's a transition, and every time you have to start like a fresher.
Exactly, Deepak. So I had opportunity to work on the all formats of, especially the cellular communication. Okay, from starting from the 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. Now we are talking 5G advanced and 6G. So the experience is amazing, if I say. And in that era, that technology seems to be very, very, very amazing, fantastic, and we all started to learn in that. So I have started the career at the time when 2G was launched, the pan India.
Hmm.
Okay, so the journey is that 2G, the technology 2G was GSM technology, that is called the, initially it was called as a group special mobile, later it is the global services for the mobile, and it is voice centric basically. Okay, so worldwide it is known for its voice, and we are in the realm of 5G right now. Even this technology is so popular that to many part of the world it is yet being used. Even in the India, we are using
Mm,
2G. So it is surface switch technology for the SMS and voice also. In 2G there was no data. We were getting the data, very limited data in the form of SMS.
mm,
And then I had the opportunity to work on GPRS. So GPRS is the general purpose radio services, and it is the first kind of cellular mobile service which has enabled the user for the internet. If you remember, your
yes.
internet is always on if you are on the GPRS technology, and
Mm,
that era was that the user we are getting that throughput in kbps, and we were so happy that we are getting 100 kbps. The limit was
yes.
114 kbps in GPRS. I really remember those days. Okay, so we came in the era of kbps. Now in the 3G it is 1 mbps to 3 mbps data speed. 3G is we have the two different variants of the 3G. I have worked for the Reliance and for the Patna circle. So it was WCDM and UMTS, and the throughput range was from 1 Mbps to 10 Mbps, depending upon that what technology we are using. So there were two kind of technologies in 3G also. One is called HSPA, high speed packet access, and another is the HSPA plus. So depending on that, you were getting the throughput. But the key is 1 to 10 Mbps only. And
Mm,
when the 4G came in the time frame of 2009-10, and I have, Deepak, I would like to mention here that I had an opportunity to work and to launch India's first LT network. That was for Airtel in Kolkata by ZT. Okay, and the example I have given that I had the opportunity to lead the OMC also there. So that I was talking for that project. So it was the first LT project there. So LT was data centric. Okay, and there was no voice call in the beginning. You remember that first we have given the data service to the LT, and LT data service we were getting the 100 Mbps. So we have
mm,
switched from 1 to 10 Mbps to the 100 Mbps. It is the first time that we are getting 100 Mbps throughput, and now in the 5G we are talking the GBps throughput.
mm,
Okay, so so I have worked across all the G of the wireless communication I can mention. And the one main difference, if I would like to highlight with respect to 3G to 4G altogether. So until 3G and the 2G also, these are the voice centric. And when we have started 4G and 5G, the voice, in order to give the voice services, we have altogether different technique. That is for the voice over LT, for the 4G, voice over NR for the
mm,
5G. 5G. And 5G is the totally different. So 5G is not treated as the next successor of 4G. If you know this, so it is not
mm,
the successor of 4G because the 5G has so huge socio-economic impact. It was treated as to change the paradigm shift in the society due to its versatile nature of this technology and number of use cases that it supports.
mm,
Although the adaptation of 5G was not use cases of 5G are not so good due to the lack of the ecosystem, because it needs the ecosystem also. Only the developing the technology will not work. It needs the ecosystem also. Okay, for example, if you allow me to explain. So, for example, the autonomous vehicle or the driverless
mm,
car is one of the prominent example or the use case of 5G. But only giving the 5G services will not work. You need the infrastructure, you need the smart roads, you need the smart traffic. Okay, you need a connected city, fully censored city. So that's why this use case can't be realized. Okay,
mm,
so this is one of the things that I would like to highlight, that the 5G has capability to get a different kind of use cases.
mm. Thanks for bringing this because the there's a important question which comes in everyone's mind is as we move from 4G to 5G, it's like a just a switch of technology, right? But the adoption, which we talk as always, 4G
Hmm.
adoption was very much there, and operators used to have a good monetization. But in terms of
Exactly.
5G, everyone is struggling.
Everyone is struggling. Exactly, exactly.
Right. And thanks for giving a clarification that you don't monetize the 5G based on what you did it in the 4G, just by the adoption. You need a different use cases. So driverless cars is one of the always the hot topic. So thanks
Mm.
for bringing that thing. But from a building an whole ecosystem, it will not build in the overnight, right? So I have learned that you are deploying a lot of 5G RAN and the 5G FWA to
Mm.
start with. So what challenges, and first of all, what is the need and what challenges you are experiencing during this journey of creating the whole
Yeah.
ecosystem?
Yeah. Very valid question. So 5G, the killer application is the FWA.
Hmm.
FWA is a single application of 5G which is adopted globally and which is giving opportunity to the operators to monetize their investment. Okay, so I will definitely let you know the challenge first. I just in 2 minutes I try to explain FWA. What is FWA? So
Hmm.
FWA is the fixed wireless access. Okay, and you must heard a buzzword nowadays that is called the air fiber.
Air
So air,
fiber.
yeah. So air fiber is the brand name, and the technology and the concept behind that is the FWA. It is called the fixed wireless access. What does this mean? That a fixed device will be placed within home or outside your home, okay, and it will connect it wirelessly to a base station,
Hmm.
wirelessly to a base station. Okay. Usually, typically in a FTT solution, what happens that the backhaul is on the wire, either on the fiber or on the LAN cable. You must have seen in your homes, okay,
Yeah.
that there is a cable coming from the behind and this is treated as a backhaul. But in FW, there is no backhaul at all. So that's why it is wireless, fixed
Hmm.
wireless. So it is wirelessly connected and it is fixed. Usually what happens, Deepak, that anything is fixed, that is treated as a wired. See the
Hmm.
example, FTT is the wired, it is fixed, it is wired, DSL is fixed, it is wired,
Hmm.
PSTN is fixed, it is wired. So but it is fixed and wireless both, and this is the reason it is called as the air fiber, because it is
Hmm.
connected via air, wirelessly connected. And why fiber? Because if you deploy FTH on the 5G, it will give the performance or the throughput like fiber. So that's
Hmm.
why air fiber. There
Yeah.
is nothing like the real fiber. This is the air
Okay.
fiber because that wireless communication between the CP and the 5G base station will yield the throughput in Gbps, which is at par with the fiber.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the concept behind it. And if I go a bit behind, people understand that FWA is the technology that is invented or it came in picture with the 5G. It is not true. It is since the time of 4G.
Hmm.
In 4G also there was FW, but it was not popular, and the purpose and the whole sole purpose was 5G. 4G FW was totally different. So FW was used initially in the 4G to give the last mile connectivity to
Hmm.
remote areas. Okay, where in the areas where deploying a site is not feasible, or you can't get that ROI which is expected by your operator, or digging or laying the fiber is totally economic, and even you are willing to connect a home or a user. So for that purpose, FW was given. The purpose was the connectivity.
Hmm.
Your
Right.
point. But and never it was the purpose was the throughput, because in LT we are limited to 20 megahertz, we are limited to a certain throughput, okay, and always the unutilized bandwidth of the LT was given to the FWA till the time of 4G. But with the invent of 5G, what happens that there is a plethora of bandwidth, there is a plethora of data speed. So now it is used as well as broadband services also, along with the last mile connectivity. Connectivity definitely
Hmm.
since the time of 4G we are given the connectivity, but now what additional we are doing the 5G, that it is a substitute of FTTH now.
Hmm.
FTTH has its own challenges, but FWA overcome those all challenges. Okay, so nowadays in urban areas also we are using it for the broadband services. Okay, so this is one of the killer application that even in the India and all other part of the world, uh, it is helping the operators to monetize their
Hmm. No, no,
cost.
thanks for explaining it so beautifully and in a very simple words that will help anyone to understand. But I totally understand, the the plus sides also have some negative sides.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you have experienced a lot of challenges. Still, you are experiencing it. So can you highlight few challenges in adoption of FWA as
Yeah,
well as the user
exactly.
experience?
Exactly. See, the best part is that for FWA is that it is one of the substitute for the broadband services, which give the broadband services without the help of any cable. Number one. Number two is it helps to nullify the digital divide. I
Hmm.
mean the uh, remote connectivity that I explained.
Yeah.
Okay, the challenges is the you have asked for the challenge. The main challenge is that both the technology, the FWA users and the mobile users, both are connected on the same platform. I mean, the same site. Okay, so
Hmm.
there is no division of the bandwidth. There is no division. So in 5G, there is a technology called there is a feature called the network slicing. Okay,
Hmm.
so I assume so far it has not been used. Whosoever has launched FWA in India. Okay, so what is happening bad with that? So in the same cell, you have more number of FWA users, and FWA is supposed to provide broadband services. The entire network, entire bandwidth is chalked by those users.
Hmm.
Then the mobile users have a problem. They are not getting the right throughput. They are not getting the SLA that was mentioned to them. So this is one of the challenges that we are facing. And other than that, coverage is a problem. There is no data at all because the deployment of, although in India, a few of the operators are deployed pan India, but even the suburban and rural areas not well connected with the 5G. Okay, if someone willing to use FWA in the suburban and rural areas, okay, so they'll have certain issues with the coverage. If there is no coverage at all, okay, you will not get the right throughput. So this is the another problem that we are facing. Either it is indoor or outdoor. Okay.
Hmm. Right, 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 right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The to provide and support one set of users, the other will have some challenges in getting the bandwidth, the proper bandwidth. And obviously, we know in the connected world, if the bandwidth is reducing, it will definitely impact the quality of service.
Exactly.
Thanks, thanks. I know this is a very vast topic, and it will take
Yeah,
more.
very vast topic. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, but I just want to keep a hold and give a pause on this. But I am
Yeah.
what now getting more curious about the 6G, right? So,
Mm,
6G, I know we have seen that there are a lot of white papers now. The world is talking about 6G. A lot of seminars are happening, and you're also part of some of the seminars. But what is the
mm.
expectation of operators now after experiencing the 5G, time? And what the expectation coming from the operators from 6G specifically?
Yeah. So, well, Deepak, as you mentioned that 6G is yet to come. It is not available even on the paper right now. But it is a valid question that what is the expectation of operators from the 6G? Because ultimately operators have to invest. Okay.
Hmm.
So what is their mindset? And it is a good indication that since the inception of the technology, the researchers and standardization bodies are thinking that what is the expectation of the operators. Okay, so first try to understand that what is expected to the end users. So for the end users, okay, who will use a 6G, they are expecting the throughput in Tbps now. From 2G to 6G, I repeat, it is kbps and GPRS and 1 to 10 Mbps and 3G 100 Mbps to 300 Mbps and 4G. 5G was the Gbps. Now in 6G we are talking about the Tbps, terabyte per second. This is one of the thing. And for that, the ITU is allocating a new range of frequency also, so that it could achieve that range of throughput. Second thing is that low latency.
Hmm.
Gradually, the latency has been decreased that is required for the real-time communication. Till 5G, it was 2 millisecond for the URLCC type of use cases, that is the ultra reliable low latency communication. Okay, but in 5G, it is in the microsecond, millisecond to microsecond. You can understand. it is it is totally real time communication. In 5G, we were mentioning near real time communication. Correct. It is
Mm.
totally real time communication is been expected in the 5G, 6G, sorry. And the third one is the massive IoT connectivity. In 5G, 100x connectivity we are giving, but here in 6G it is 1000x connectivity is expected. So this is the end user that technology, whenever this technology will evolve and develop, this is given to the end users. But in order to give these, what what operators and what features is needed to be implemented, it is very important. So if you're asking the expectation of operators, so we can understand the first thing that they are asking, that the 6G is totally a standalone network.
Mm.
In 5G, we had two deployment options, NSA and SA. And
Yeah.
we have seen in 5G that NSA is how much complex. There are so many deployment options, option 3, option 5, etc. And even within the option, we have the option. For example, in option 3, we have 3 and 3x. So operators struggle a lot what to implement, what to not implement, what is the drawbacks, what is the merit. And unanimously, globally, who is doing what, it was also a challenge. Interoperability was a challenge. Okay, so operator don't want this in 6G. Since day one they are expecting it should be the standalone. If it takes time, it's okay. Okay, but we expect it as a standalone technology. It is the number one. Number two is voice services. As I mentioned, that 4G is launched, only data we were giving, and after a couple of
Mm.
year later, we were the voice over IP. Similarly, on the 5G also, we are not giving all together data services and voice services. Okay, so it creates 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 and impacts the ROI. Okay,
Mm.
because someone has to fall back for the call, and if you have the fallback, you have to keep that network also. So voice services should be from day one along with the data services. It is expected by the operators in the city. Next is that they don't want they don't want 6G core. Surprisingly, they are
Okay.
they have mentioned the evolve the 5G core that should be the backward compatible. Okay, they don't want to invest. So many of the operators, because I was going through one of the report released by Telecom TV, it was different opinions have been given, but the majority of them that the 5G code needs to be evolved for the 6G core, and there that should be backward compatible with the 5G. Okay,
Mm.
and they are expecting the internet working with the 5G and 4G also, not with
Mm.
the 2G, 3G. 4G at least, 4G and 5G internet working should be there. Next, they are expecting that the upper middle band ranges from 7 gigahertz to 24 gigahertz that I mentioned as FR3. This is a new range of frequency that is designated by ITU for the 6G communication. Okay, so 6G communication is possible on the frequency band that is allocated to the 5G, and this new frequency band that is called the FR3, which ranges from 7 gigahertz to 24 gigahertz. So
Mm.
FR1, 5G, 5G and 6G, both the communication will be there. And in FR2, now it is categorized as FR2.1 and FR2.2. So FR2.1 ranges from 24 gigahertz to 47 gigahertz, and both the communications are possible, 5G and 6G. And FR2.2 is dedicated for the 5G, that is ranging from 47 to 91 and 92 gigahertz. Okay, if I recall correctly. So they are expecting. So the here key factor is 7. They are not willing to go beyond 24 gigahertz. Okay, the way we have millimeter wave frequency of the 26 gigahertz, 28 gigahertz, 41 gigahertz. Of course, they have mentioned that if someone wants to launch on that frequency range, it could be done because that is dedicated for the 5G and 6G both. But the special demand for the frequency is between 7 gigahertz to 24 gigahertz.
Mm.
Okay, so this is their expectation. And 5G is told as a cloud native, 6G is told as a AI native. So along with the cloud native, it is the AI native also. The AI should be the integral part of the network. Even on the RAN side also. Core and other we are implementing, but even on the RAN interfaces, it is expected that there should be the AI should be the integral part of this network. NVIDIA is working a lot on the interfaces of RAN to develop it. Okay, it helps in many ways. Okay,
Hmm.
so life cycle management, essential for energy saving and automation, predictive maintenance, and self healing. So these are the things where AI will help if it is implemented as an integral part, as a core function. Thereafter, we have committed a lot of throughput. So how those throughput will be achieved? DBPS. It
Hmm.
is 1,000 Gbps. Good, correct.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
in, in 5G, we mention as a 10 Gbps max to max. Okay, but here 100
100
times
times.
higher. Okay, 100 times higher. So how that will be achieved? So they are expecting the enhanced spectral efficiency, enhanced carrier aggregation. This is also expected by the
Hmm.
operator. Energy saving, needless to say, the energy saving they are expecting the consumption of energy to be decreased with respect to 5G. And a very important thing is the ISAC communication, the integrated sensing and communication. They are expecting use case agnostic sensing architecture in the 6G. So a couple of days back, ETCI released a very good document on. I didn't have the opportunity to go through that, but that is totally based on the ISAC communication. And they mentioned that ISAC will be proven as the base of 6G communication system. So it should be used as agnostic sensing architecture should be there.
Hmm.
Okay, and they are also expecting the open interfaces, improve interoperability between the vendors, and seamless migration from 5G to 6G. So these are the top 10 themes of the expectation of the um, operator, which they are expecting 6G to be.
Wow. There are huge innovation which is going and R&D going at the back end to bring all these parameter which you mentioned right now.
Definitely, Deepak, definitely. And in this, India is also contributing, and a lot of study, ITU, CGPP, ETSI, everyone is involved. The anticipated time for the first release, the release 21 probably, the release 20 is for the 5G beyond, and the release 21 of the 3GPP will must contain the 3G initial standardization of 3G, and that is anticipated in 2027 by the start of the 2027. Okay,
Hmm.
correct.
I'm just thinking about the ecosystem, right? Now, as you talk about the higher the frequency, and we all know that frequency increases means the coverage area goes, is reduced. So how many no number of small cell, number of CPs, number of FWS are required to actually give a coverage to every home to give them a quality of service which they are
Mm.
paying for. So,
Absolutely, Deepak. So this is one of the reason that FR3 has been designated that is in between 6G to 6 gigahertz to 24 gigahertz. We are not going in the range of millimeter wave, although it is available if someone wants to use, because this is the prime reason that higher the frequency, lesser is the coverage, and you are supposed to give more number of sites. Okay, so in 6G, it is anticipated that at every 10 meter you have to 10 meter or the 100 feet like that, 10 to 10 meter to 50 feet. Yeah, it is like that. So it is anticipated that there will be the cell site, and that's why they are talking. The ETSI document is talking that you will not realize where is the antenna. Everywhere there will be the antenna if you are willing to enable the 6G communications for the different use cases.
hmm. And we all are talking about right now on the on the connectivity layer, whether it's come from a 5G, 6G, but the another important aspect is the application which generally come from the AI and the blockchain of the world. So,
Mm.
what is your intake about on these emerging application-driven, what you say, technologies, or the language or the programming coming or the models or the LLM of the world who is creating a more intelligence to the end user and making them more lazy and efficient also.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. So see, in this number of use cases, the use cases is evolving yet. So there are number of use cases that is based on the AIML or the sensing, okay, and few of the use cases that we are talking since the time of 5G, okay. So it will evolve gradually as we tend forward to the release 2021 definitely. And as I mentioned that AI will be the integral part of this, okay. So definitely the most of the use cases will be based on that also, whether it is the optimization services, whether it is the preventive maintenance, whether it is the self-healing or autonomous network, okay. So these are the typical things that you must see in the RAN network of the 6G.
Interesting times ahead, and with the whole, that's the reason I can relate when you say this, the connected society, and where everything is connected with this broad technology layers, generation layers, and
Mhm.
obviously AI coming on top to give the results in a near real time basis.
Exactly.
Right. You mentioned about the ORAN, right? So which
Mhm.
is the talk about the interoperability and the openness. So what is your adoption and the industry adoption of the open RAN system in their ecosystem, which is already a closed one, and also already the vendors are not ready to open their interfaces to interact with any new parties.
Yeah, exactly, Deepak. It is the classical RAN versus the open RAN. So in classical RAN, typically what happens that the components of the RAN network, which is typically the radio and the baseband units, both the units are there is a proprietary vendor lock-in. What does this mean? That both the units are tightly coupled with each other, whether it is hardware or software, that could not be separated. This means that essentially you have to take all the components of RAN from a particular OEM. It is not possible in classical RAN that you take the radio from vendor A and mix and match with the vendor B, BB. Okay. So here as the interfaces are not open, but open RAN demolish this monopoly of this major OEM. So this allows us to mix and match the different products of different vendors. For example, if you are willing to use vendor A radio with the vendor B baseband, definitely we can use, and not only the hardware. Within the hardware, if we are willing to use vendor A hardware and vendor A hardware, if we are willing to use vendor B software, that we also can we do, and not on the hardware level at the L1, L2, L3 layer also we can split. So in BBU, typically we have the L2, L3 layers. Okay. So the split is also possible there. Low fi, high fi, low mac, high mac, like that. So ORAN gives a lot of opportunity in that domain, that there will be no monopoly of the vendors, and it will pave the path for the small players also. If someone is willing to develop just a radio or just a baby, they can do. It is not now essential that they will come with the entire suite of random only, then it will work. The way the major OEM and gents are doing. So this is one of the benefit of OEM. I am the advocate for that. It should be happen. Most of the operators, especially Vodafone, has initiated it, the open thing with the help of Facebook. So I'm in the favor of it, but as you also mentioned that the adaptation is very slow. There are certain reasons why the adaptation is very slow. The number one reason is that the integrated integration services is very tough because we have split the layers also, lo-fi hi-fi. Suppose the lo-fi from is A and hi-fi is from the B. So at we don't have to integrate at the level of hardware only. We have to do the integration service at the layer of physical layer, Mac layer, etc. So it seems to be tough. Although Open Alliance is trying to fix all those things, there are certain TSD for that. Okay. But adaptation is slow due to this reason, that it seems that the integration services is tough. Although in the many countries, OpenRAN has been adopted. For example, if I give some examples to you, this in US, this network in US totally based on the OpenRAN. Deutsche Telekom in Germany, it is also on the OpenRAN. Vodafone UK, the many part of the UK, Vodafone has uh, implemented OpenRAN. Rakuten is fully based on that, although it has a different story. It has not open interfaces, but it is OpenRAN. Okay,
Mm.
and many of the operators across the globe are testing. Even in India, Airtel, Vodafone are testing the OpenRAN solutions. And a couple of months back, there was a deal with AT&T where Ericsson and Fujitsu, they have given the contract to Ericsson and Fujitsu, Ericsson for the baseband and Fujitsu for the radio. You must be aware. This is one of the big deal of the
Mm.
open. Although till the time that was not open, that didn't came in the news. People were treating Ericsson as the opposer of the open RAN. Okay, but
Mm.
internally they were developing the open RAN solution and sold to Ericsson also. So nowadays, almost all the OEMs are in the favor of Open RAN, more or less. Gradually, they are coming, and its adaptation is definitely slow, but it is good for the operators, good for the small players also.
No, no, I personally believe it. This technology or this system will have a lot of potential, and yeah, it's a war between a close loop situation and the boxes versus the innovation. But definitely over the time they will get a lot good momentum, as you rightly mentioned. So some of the use cases and some of the awards which the new players have got it. And I'm pretty much sure, this AI and tomorrow the customer will be flexible to open any one of the system coming from any of the vendor.
Exactly, Deepak, exactly.
Yeah. We also look forward to get this thing to get open RAN into the momentum. And obviously it creates a lot of opportunities for the whole and the betterment of the employees as well as the industry.
Exactly.
Uh, we, we understand you have a lot of habit of learning, and you have also contributed into the blueprints to white papers, and there are a lot of documentation you are dealing into, especially from the enterprise clients. So, how important, is storytelling help you in preparing, drafting, and communicating during in your technical documentations?
Storytelling is really important, Deepak. Yeah. So technical document or a solution document or any blueprint, if it is full of text and full of facts and figure, and the user typically get bored. First thing it is technical, and it is plain vanilla. It's really, it could bore the reader and the audience. So it is very important to express something via some story. Okay, so I'm fully agree with that, and it keep the audience engaged and help to effectively communicate the content. And remember one thing, that the story is also memorable. So
Yeah.
whether you remember the content or not, whether you remember the facts of it or not, you must remember the story. And with the story, alongside the story, it helps you to remember other things also. It could be the facts and figure, it could be the concept of that. So I believe, and I try to write, although I'm not so expertise in the story writing, but I usually try to give that shape, that conceptualization, and create the context in that way that it helps the user. It is more user friendly, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people.
stories are remembered for long, and
As I
totally
mentioned, the stories are memorable.
these
Yeah,
are memorable. True, true, true. But it's all about the human psychology. In fact, I always believe into that.
yeah, yeah,
Mm, right. And yeah, I understand. We have some scarcity of time. Uh,
yeah.
but I have a couple of more questions for you, and specifically from how you balance the customer centricity, with this technical precision. So where the customers are actually a complex because they are getting a lot of knowledge from everyone, and Google is full of knowledge. YouTube is an open social university nowadays, and everything is over there. and coming with the chat GPT. And obviously, as a customer and customer, it's always a demand. They are always demanding nowadays. So how
Mm.
you make a balancing between what is happening on from the basis of the technology or the real solutioning which you are preparing, as well as the demanding and the uh, demand from the customer, which.
Yeah, Deepak, you are very right that the customer is very demanding, but we have to manage them. This is our duty as a pre-sales guy. This is our duty that whatever demanding, we have to convince, keep them convinced. Okay, so the foremost thing that establish a good relation with the customer.
Hmm.
It is very critical. If everything, it is very true that everything you can't provide to the customer, okay, but if you have a good relationship with the customer, you can make them convinced, you can buy the time from them. And you must have the deep understanding of customer needs, what they want, when they want, and someone should pursue accordingly. It is not like that the customer is expecting A and we are giving B. There should be clear cut communication with the customer. Okay, sometimes it doesn't help, but most of the time it helps. Okay, long term, if you are willing to establish a long term relationship, and if you are willing to balance the customer, okay, so it is very important that you clearly communicate with the customer. You mention what you can do, what you cannot do, but at the same time we have to keep them convinced. Okay, and precision, you mentioned the precision also. So technical precision is one of the important aspect that the customer respect. Yeah, as I mentioned initially, that for the technical work and literature and everything that they do technically, they are dependent on the OEMs mostly. Operators are dependent on OEM mostly. So if they are dependent on us, then it is, we should more responsible to respond with the full of precision. Okay,
Hmm.
it happens that if you are also equally knowledgeable, you can also handle something, it's okay. But if you're fully dependent on me, that it's my responsibility to be precision. And the only way to be precision is that learn, study, read, understand, and never be overconfident. Never be overconfident. What I learned, if you ask one thing that I learned from the telecommunication, never be overconfident. You know everything. Even before communicating to customer, cross check it. Cross check it. Don't communicate anything casually. Cross check everything, only then communicate. It will evaluate you. It will evaluate you in the vision of customer. And
Hmm.
sometimes, if you are not able to deliver, they will understand that there must be some genuine reason. So the technical precision is equally important, as well as understanding the customer need is equally important. We have to bridge. We have to bridge both of them.
Right. So yeah, validation, revalidation is very important part, because that's where that because more and more you bring the validated facts to them, the better
Mhm.
they will start trusting you and finding you as an alternative to what they have in their current ecosystem. Uh,
Exactly, Deepak.
very important message, and thank you so much, because I have seen a lot of lot of sales people have started using this as an excuse, because they already have a partner. There is no option of us to go and break that account, but it is never happened. You have to try hard and obviously learn and expand your horizon so that customer can see you as an alternative.
Exactly, Deepak. Exactly.
And that's where the system integrators and the manufacturing hubs comes into the play to break the legacy. Thanks for refining and redefining the same the thoughts to many people who are listening to our show. Uh,
Exactly.
I have a last question for you. Specifically, your advice to young professionals who are actually want to become or want to start their careers in this connectivity space. And when I say connectivity space, I include the AI also on top of that as well. So I don't want to mix both the things. I'm
Mhm.
talking from an ICT perspective.
ICT perspective. I got it. So, to the investor, my message is very clear, Deepak. Okay, two things are there. Never be overconfident and believe in yourself. Both are equally important. Sometimes people say it is contradictory statement. Okay, so there is a very thin line between confidence and overconfidence. You have to identify that thin line. Okay, and you have to believe in yourself. You have to develop can-do attitude. Can-do attitude means if any particular work is assigned to you, okay, you you first say, yeah, I can do. And if it is a bit challenging, as I mentioned, it always comes with the learning opportunities. So the candy attitude is very important. Never be overconfident is equally important. And believe you so that you can do. Why you can't do? If someone else is doing, you can also do. So believe in yourself. This is my message to the youngster.
Wow.
Make continuous learning a daily habit. Develop soft skill and collaborate with the people. That's it.
It's a beautiful message which you have given, especially the mentality, the mindset, which is a can-do attitude, and obviously always be a learner so that you will not become an overconfident. You always remain at humble. If your
Exactly.
foot is on ground, definitely you can achieve a lot of milestones. Mm.
Exactly, Deepak. Exactly.
So thank you so much, Sapan, for sharing your incredible insights, experiences, and vision with us. Your journey is a true testament to what happens when deep technical knowledge meets strategic leadership and it brings a customer empathy. So, before we conclude, any message you want to share with our audience?
Definitely, I will say to the audience that collaboration and networking is one of the important thing. Everyone should focus on that, and we should work together as a family. We should compete with oneself only, not with other self. Sapan has a competition with the Sapan only. What I am today, I will try to excel tomorrow with respect to my current position. Okay, so this will help if everyone is thinking in this way, and this will help to grow everyone, not
Hmm.
me, not Deepak, everyone. So this is my message to the audience: more connected, more collaborated. That will really help.
Wow, very well said. It's a very important. It reminds the famous dialogue from a film called Sultan.
Acha.
The Sultan said always, the Salman Khan that only Sultan can beat Sultan, so no one else. So definitely, when you go with the competition with yourself and working as a family, then I can imagine the solidification of the relationship, and everyone is going and approaching for the betterment of the industry. And when in and the we are fortunate that we are part of that industry which is a connectivity world, right? And all the things reside on top of on it. And if our foundation is strong and we are as a family, then it's a collaborative effort rather than a competitive effort.
Exactly.
So
That I also, I exactly echo with you, Deepak.
well, thank you so much once again, Sapan, for taking your time and giving us so much valuable information. And I'm pretty much sure the people, the thousands of professionals who are connected with us will get a next wave forward about their new action.
Equally, thanks to you, Deepak, for your time, the platform that you provided today, and spare your time to interview me. Okay, thanks.
Thank you once again. And for the audience, until next time, this is Deepak Vyas signing off. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Deepak. Yeah.